to explain an experience her husband, and family had at a restaurant. And the story is phenomenal. It really is. And I just love that. I said, so I'm going to ask Barb to join us, and hopefully she'll do it because it's not too long a story. And here we go. I'd like to introduce you to Barb Ellen. She's with us right now on the Zoom line. How are you?
Hey, Joe. We're fine. Sitting in Birdie. It's a little bit of trouble, so our experience was great.
Yeah, that's great. How are you? Doing good?
I'm fine. And then it's with the baby, and I'm supposed to be back at home.
I'm glad you're doing fantastic. Barb, your email that, or the message that you and I go back and forth, truly an amazing story that happened to you this past summer. Can you tell us about it?
You know what, Joe? It's unbelievable. It's an experience that I'll never forget. We decided that Aaron was racing at 68 Marines, so we thought, well, let's just slide over to Jim Arkansas. We went to Wausau Speedway, and that weekend Chase Pinsino, Steckley, Cole Butcher, a lot of the Canadian guys were racing down there, so we thought, well, let's take it all in. So we arrived at the track, got there, they had set up the camping differently. We didn't know we had to register a site, so we drove through once, and then we thought, well, what do we do? And we drove through the second time, and all these people with t-shirts held us down, and it was Kyle Steckley's crew. Kyle Steckley was there, even made us feel it was like, wow, they know us, thanks, help us. So we went there, and we joined the ABC, two of us with the ABC owners was there. So it was we were having a great experience, and we joined in with their chit-chat, put over for a while, and then we went to watch the race. It was an awesome race. So it was phenomenal. If you ever have a chance, whatever, I would never miss that. That's the other show.
Wausau was the one on my list that I really wanted to get to this year. We didn't. We had Rexon probably a month and a half ago, the owner of the Wausau, and truly a great guy, and everything that I heard about the Wausau was really over the top. Beautiful place, really, really well, and great for the race man.
Thanks for that. One more time. Anyway, it came to sitting there. It was like going to a NASCAR race, okay? It's so good. You can see everything. The track is great. Drivers are great. So anyway, from our experience there, we watched the race. We had a great time. We got some people at the track. But after everything was done, we were about to go home, and we hung out with the crew from the ABC with Kyle Steckley. This guy came over to Ramsey, of course, and so we stayed with them for a while, and then all of a sudden, Bree doing his usual slow off, disappeared, and I'm like, okay, whatever, everybody's going home, so I'll just wander over to my motorhome and see what he's doing. So, of course, I go in, and Bree has got two guys trapped in there, and he's got his collage out. So, I don't know, I'm going to bring this collage out. Everyone possibly in Ontario racing has seen this collage. It's based on old tickets from the 1980s on. Those tickets will say it's really not the greatest thing to look at. But he brings people in and he shows them, and they're like amazed at what he calls the name NASCAR races.
Yeah, look at them all. Oh, that's cool. Like there were concert tickets and how you collected those race ones. That's cool.
It is, because nowadays, first of all, you don't get the tickets anymore. But anyway, so these two guys are in there, and I'm like, okay. I took that away, and I just joined them. And then they said, come on over to our camp, and we're right across from you. So we went over there, and drank the cola, was the director of our Field Foundation. He said, you know what? They had booth at the race promoting breast care awareness that day. And so we sat down, we talked about it a little bit, and then I said, you know, my daughter Stephanie had breast cancer, and she passed away in 2017. So I talked about how she was an awesome girl. She loved racing. We had all Becky toured all over the place to all different tracks. And so, anyway, all of a sudden we talked and he was very sympathetic, very, just all of a sudden stood up and said, you know what, Barb, I think you should come down to Charlotte. And I'm like, not knowing, you know, that I was kind of flabbergasted actually, but a little skeptical, and I thought, well, okay, can we do this? So I said, okay, well, whatever. And so then I thought, well, is this going to happen? And so a few weeks later, all of a sudden, I got hot passes sent to me. And I'm like, wow. We did exchange emails with him. I sent him some pictures of Stephanie, and one of her pictures, we went to Germany with her when she had breast cancer for 8 years, and towards the end, we would just go. We would go out to a race somewhere. She'd help me truck, off we go. And that was our getaway. And so we went to Germany one year, and the girls were at Mossburg, at the race for the Labor Day weekend, I believe it was. Anyway, and all of a sudden she just, girl said, you know what, Mom, Mom and Dad, let's go to Germany. So at the track in Mossburg, in our little trailer, they had their computers going and booked the trip for us. And in 2 weeks, we left from Canada to Germany for 3 weeks. And we got everything that weekend. It was awesome. So, anyway, she was really involved in racing with us, as was Becky. Yeah. And going back here to Bright and the whole experience there, he let us know that, you know, we were going to come. We had the hot passes going, and then we were trying to get away. We had my mother here for a few days. Didn't get anywhere we wanted to go. Anyway, we managed to get down there on Friday. But the day before we left, he sent us a message and said, you know what, Barb? Eric is going to have the number 43 car is going to have your daughter Stephanie's name over the passenger door. And I thought, wow, that is awesome. That was such an honor. She loved life, and she was larger than life for most people, and she knew everyone at the track. Our girls have gone to races since they were toddlers. We used to take them to the early days when they were still little kids. We would take them to Glamour on a Saturday night. I would take a sleeping bag, put them in the seat, put it down, so that they could go to sleep there. Yeah, it was anyway, so we did end up going down to the Roval and went on, decided that, you know, let's just stop by the racetrack on our way down. They were having an appreciation day. And I called them and said, you know what, Brent, we're just going to stop in on our way down to Charlotte. Is it okay if we pop in? He said, no problem. They had all sorts of events going on. They had the Victory Junction tent set up. There was a breast cancer awareness tent set up. There were all sorts of things going. I chuckled when I got there because we pulled in and the guy raised his playing football in front of there. And we looked across the street, the Jets were rolling in. There's a landing strip there. It was just all awesome. I did understand that. And this is with the number 33 of Harry Jones, right? Yeah. Honestly, it was like, it still is unbelievable to me. Anyway, so while we were there, Brett came over and he said, you know what, Barb, I'm just going to take you over and we're going to show you the racetrack. And I can't put him there because Richard Petty and Dale Inman are standing for autographing thanks for all the fans that have been there from Lazy Motorsports and race fans that are part of the group there. So we'll just walk, okay? And then all of a sudden you disappear, went to overthrow mine, and there was a lovely lady standing there. And I said, you know what? Do not list ahead of anybody. We will wait. So we talked to Miss Ellen, who is Richard Petty's with Richard Petty, and she came over and she said, you know what? You just bring them over and I'll get them in line. So it wasn't long before all of a sudden we were there. She did say to us, say to Brent, you know what, Barb? This is all meant to be. You know what? I am Miss Ellen, and your last name is Ellen. So God has arranged for this to happen. And I was like, flabbergasted. Anyway, she did got her little line back down. We did get in, and we got pictures taken. The photographer came over. I had my camera going. Sorry. Taking pictures. One of the girls took the pictures for me, and so it was like, so we got pictures taken with Phil in them, with Richard, went on, and then all of a sudden this Ellen came over, and she said, oh, I need your phone. All these people have taken pictures, why do you need my phone to get pictures? Yeah, well, she downloaded some of the time one of the girls had taken, and I said, okay, great. So, then we went home and left the racetrack. We had such a wonderful experience there. Some of the cars already, Stephanie's name was not on the car at that point, and they said that it was already loaded onto the trailer at that point. So, anyway, Jimmy Johnson was there, Matt Kenseth was there, Bernie's and Matt Kenseth, we both are. So, way back in the day, our friendship with our friends in Wisconsin, right? We go Matt Kenseth and about two other souvenirs. It was work from the early days. Anyway, we got the racetrack, went to the track, found a great campsite right across from the track, so we didn't have to walk far. And once we settled into there, that was on Friday, so there was a truck race on Friday evening, and you know what, we were just doing truck all day, and we had such excitement with it, and I said, you know what, let's just stay here. So we set up our campground there, our campsite there, and we wandered around, and we saw a couple of the owners and some teams here. So we met some different people again, So we didn't do anything that Friday. It was quiet. And then the next day, we were like, okay, we're going to go. Brent had all arranged for a trip. Brent picked us up. We didn't have to walk anywhere. We could walk, shuttle, golf cart going. It was awesome. So he did take us into the pits that day. So we walked, getting the cars ready. Watched them pulling out of the garage. It was qualifying day. He took us around. He introduced us to members of the team. And a really nice guy that picked off of Eric Jones' team, who was just a wonderful person. I'd met him the day before, and when we got there that day, he came over and he pictures with me, and it was so nice. It just restored my faith in that these are just normal people. I mean, those people, they're not special. They're just human like us.
Just like us. And that's pretty cool. If you're just tuned in to Race Now Radio, well, welcome aboard. This is Barb and her husband, Bernie. Fans, soundtrack fans, Canadian fans, and Barb is letting us know an experience that she had this summer. They came right on the left field. They went through a trip down to Rossley Speedway, first from Ontario. Went down to Russell, hanging out by the fire, Bernie being Bernie, race fan, got chatting up with a couple of guys. Before you know it, these two end up at Charlotte Speedway with all badges, and it's incredible that the daughter that had passed away with breast cancer, her name's from the back of the window on Eric Jones' cup cancer race. It's just amazing story. You hear how all that came together, Barb. You don't know Steph was with you the whole way. She had to be.
definitely was. And she would have, I'm so honored that they would get to be involved for just a normal person like us, normal people that love racing.
How would the 43 do that then?
He did not qualify well, and he also did not race that well. But we did get to watch him. So in qualifying, he didn't do well. And then the next day of the race, it also wasn't that well. We again had the experience of sitting in the pit box and watching the race. Exactly having Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson, and watched the race from there. During that day, we were taken by Brent into the drivers' meeting, which I always thought them looking at him there, but they can let people in. So we got to see all the drivers. I think it was like you have no idea.
I mean, it's only 30 youth members of Ryan Moran, right? Because he was probably doing the drivers' meeting from the race people.
Well, I don't really know that because a lot of races can't do it. I was trying to make a change on that. Because I was a different guy. And then I think it was a cloud going out for this. Great experience.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, they're absolutely spent a long time race fun. To have all this sort of really right on the left field. It could happen to 2 other people, I can tell you that.
There it is.
Amazing. So, did you get a chance to speak with Eric at restaurant?
And not much. We got to meet him and talk to him for just that long. I was pretty busy with all the drivers and whatnot. So it was really hectic. When we were there on Saturday, on qualifying day, they had the cup cars, the tire tape, all the tires going back and forth, the parts going back and forth. It was very hectic. So yes, we did get to chit chat with them. We met his mother already at the race stop, and then met her again at the start, and we got to see his wife and his little dog, who was so cute, right? And we had on race day, we did have pictures taken with the car, with Stephanie's name on it, and also with the window mats that were all painted pink, yes. They had already painted the wall pink day before we got there, which was really a little bit too bad that we couldn't have taken part in it. But anyway, it was unbelievable still.
This happens to 2 other people. I can guarantee you that. And I've been all played with this for a long time. And it's sort of great to see. And that experience is really the best. How did the season go for you? Did you get into many races this year?
Never know.
You were probably coming every weekend, though, right?
We tried hard. We both get a super league. Take the guys to some of that. So the kids are looking at their true owners and everybody all the things to be. Got to keep them company.
That's good.
We did pick it up to the zoo after a while, so we did go up to see some of the rain, which was an awesome experience. They had gone last year, and I really had regretted that we didn't go, but we were in trouble with the moon, and I just couldn't really leave. So, I'm so glad I went up there. That's a really awesome racetrack. We had so much fun there, and Fort the good day always had car problems. We did get to walk there and then experienced all of the after race activities in the pits, and it was fun.
Larry Speedway. That's the race that you're on. You should have went to the year before when he won. It would have been a real treasure. Kevin would have been really modeled that back there.
Yeah, sure.
You guys can't thank you enough for sharing the experience on Race Car Radio. I know that the viewers, the listeners of the show would really appreciate you, and we appreciate the time. You're the first ever
been Reedsville since the 70s, but we worked on the Carback one, and we never stopped. No,
And
love it.
don't
Proud
ever,
girls love it.
and don't ever quit. We need you to keep going to the races. But I got 10 laps lined up, so we're going to have to drop you guys off and go Kate and me in January. Appreciate the time. And what an excellent story. We'll all think of stuff. We'll be remembering it. And you guys, just phenomenal. Awesome stuff.
Thanks so much. Yes, thank you so much. It was awesome speaking with you. Totally unexpected and grateful for your name that we could all step through and our awesome experience.
Awesome stuff. Have a good one. And we'll see you at the first concert.